Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Plate podcast, brought to you by 1IQ Sports. I'm Will, that's DJ. I'm also sick, so that's why I sound like a nasally hippopotamus. Yeah, that thing. But besides that, we all, as Blue Jay fans, had some pretty fucking awesome news on Thursday when John Heyman tweets out Max Scherzer to the Jays. I started shaking, man. It was like the flurries in my stomach. It was like the adrenaline of just like actually making a signing. Like not expecting the signing, I think is the other thing. Like Santander, we were kind of expecting that to build at some point. Whereas like Scherzer, like what we were kind of led to believe is that he combo signs with Alonso wherever Alonso went. And then he just kind of signed out of the blue and said, fuck you, to Pete Alonso. And he reunites with Chris Bassett in the best rotation in the American League East now. And, I mean, just what it is. He raises the ceiling of this team. Like, I probably pegged the Jays at about an 83-win team. I think he raises the ceiling to about 87, 88. And that's wild card spot. Yeah, well, that's like, you know, the risk of it. Like, if he's healthy, the ceiling gets raised. But if he's injured, brace for impact. $15.5, yeah. That 0.5 is so intentional to beat Justin Verlander's $15 million mark. Yeah. I'll I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Just he signed on a Thursday. Maybe the doctor's office was closed Saturday, Sunday. Like, you know, maybe the physical happened Friday, and then like the paperwork had to go through. But like, if it's not like official tomorrow, it's like that's 5 days. I don't know. It gets a little concerning, just due to the fact that he is 40, going to be 41 years old, coming off, you know, last offseason he had back surgery, he had shoulder fatigue, he had a hamstring injury. I think there was something elbow maybe at some point last year. Yeah, like the engine's starting to fall off a bit there, but it's still got another lap in it, and I just hope that it passes all the clearance level stuff. I assume he will. Like, I don't think the Jays get to the point where they are to sign Max Scherzer if it isn't a sure thing, you know? Like, they got to find something magical in there to say, ugh. Just, like, the Jays have such a good track record with keeping their pitchers healthy, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's why I say 20 starts. If he gives you 20 starts, that contract is more than worth it. Like, give him 20 starts, like maybe once a month, Yariel takes a start from him, you know? Like something like that, where it's like, hey, man, we're going to give you an extra day or two here. Like, hey, you know, we got the doubleheader here where it was gonna be your game, and now we're gonna call up a guy to start this game, and then Yariel's gonna start that game. And then we have a travel day, so now you get an extra day, like just something like that. I think it works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so like I I've been watching a lot of Max Scherzer highlights, 2023, 2024 highlights, just to see like old man Scherzer in action. And it's so hype and exciting watching him pitch that like it's just not gonna feel real until you see him in Rogers Center in whatever color jersey we're wearing that day. And oh, oh, dude, I want to see him like yelling, "You motherfucking fucking bitch!" in like the City Connects, because I think it'd be the two color eyes. I love it, but like if I'm the Blue Jays, I look at one thing and I just go, okay, Brandon Barriera, you're coming to spring training, healthy or not, you're coming to spring training. Trey Savage, you're coming to spring training. You're sitting next to Max Scherzer. You are to not leave his side. You are his shadow for a month or two. Jake Bloss, you're right there with him. Bowden, I get Bowden's like 28. Bowden, you're in there. Alec, you're in there. Ricky T, you're in there. I want all of those kids on a leash with Max Scherzer. I want it to look like Max Scherzer's a daycare. I want every young pitcher surrounding him, feeding off him, absorbing everything he says like a sponge. Because if it rubs off on two of those guys, the 2026, 2027 Blue Jays look fucking scary in that rotation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I need that breaking. We've signed a 3-time Cy Young winner, 2-time World Series champion, Max Scherzer to a 1-year contract worth $15.5 million. Welcome to Toronto. I, dude, I don't know. Like, would I be shocked if he hit the Jamie Moyer route and went and pitched till he was 45? Absolutely not. Do I think teams would be willing to do that? Is a little more skeptical. Like, I could see him going a year to Washington and like being a mentor there, or going to a team like Detroit. But like, I don't know, man. Especially if there's any little bit of injury. Like, he's got to be healthy and pitch into like a 3-5 for like a team to take a chance on him, I think. Just because he's like, next year he'll be going into the season 41, waiting to turn 42. I think the first time he had to prove anything, or probably the last time, was like his debut. Like when the Diamondbacks debut. Like, I don't know, that dude's just been a force. He's never really had a bad year. Even last year, like that was his worst year, and it was still an ERA under 4. Mind you, 9 starts, but still just beautiful. Oh, mm-hmm. like I don't think he's signing for money anymore in his career. Like the Dodgers are paying him 20 something million in a couple years, like as a deferred payment. Um, it was like a trade defer payment. Like it was like something really weird in his contract with Washington. Washington's still paying him 20 something million a year. So like I don't think it's the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers like it's like one lump sum, I think in 2028. But like he's not in it for the money. He's in it to win a championship, which is what makes Toronto such a weird destination. Like I get the AL so wide open, but why not go to a Dodgers? Like there's something that like I'd like to be a fly on the wall to see what Ross Atkins said, the promise that was said that got Scherzer to like put pen to paper would be so intriguing. Because like I wonder what it is. Like is it like, hey, because he doesn't give a fuck if we sign Vladdy. That does not affect him one bit. So like a Vladdy extension to him is like, okay, whatever, good for you guys. So it has to be like, hey, we have the top offer in on a guy like Alex Bregman and in on Pete Alonso. Like we're the top offer on both those guys. No. Yeah. Well, like it's been pointed out a lot the last like 2-3 weeks that Max Scherzer and Pete Alonso are really good friends and they like, you know, trying to like Scherzer might try and convince Alonso to come play with him again. I personally think the Alonso Scherzer connection was solely because more teams were interested in Max Scherzer than Pete Alonso. And Boris was like, hey guys, don't forget about this guy. And they were like, no thanks. Like Scherzer's like that like nice like Kit Kat in the store and Pete Alonso's the apple. And they're like, remember, have an apple. And the kid's like, nah, I'm okay. I think you know when you get like and you're an MLB the Show and you get to like February and they start doing ARB hearings and there's like that 188 overall player and you're like you see every offer is like the minimal interest and you're like, wow, fuck it, let's put a 1 year in and see what happens. This is what that is. The Jays are sat there and they're like, well, let's see, like no harm, no foul. We don't get him, whatever. It's not like he filled the hole anyways. Uh, I think Bregman, they'd be a bit more upset if they didn't get, just because Bregman fits the third base hole better than us moving Vladdy there would. But even then, I think the Jays would be like, well, our Elvis it is. And please. I don't know what Bregman's doing. Like, well, like, the Machado contract, I think, skewered his head. Like, Manny got a shit ton of money because he actually is a really, like, he's a top end offensive third baseman. But then that contract kind of has come back to start to like look a little bad. And they're like, well, we can get Bregman 7,200, and every team's like, no, no thanks. And he turned down the Astros 6,156, thinking he'd get more. And now he's kind of stuck like Alonso is, where he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna get. But I do think Bregman signs within like the next week. Like I'd be shocked if we head into spring training. He doesn't strike me as a guy who'd want to be out there while people are starting to get their work in. Oh, well, like, he can play third base, which is very thin. He can play shortstop, which isn't as thin, but like still nice to have. And he can play second base, which is also kind of thin offensively. Like you don't, second base isn't exactly an offensive production place. Like Altuve is an outlier, um, Astro scandal aside. The Crawford boxes. He would rake in Boston. Absolutely, he would 100% rake at Fenway. I think he'd rake at Yankee Stadium too. I think new updated Rogers Center dimensions would help him. He would not rake it. He would be reek. Um, he would rake at the mini Yankee Stadium that the Rays are playing in, but that's because it's a minor league park. Comerica doesn't fit offensively. Like that makes no sense. His production would, you know. Um, Chicago, weird. Like he's a pull ball hitter, and like for power at least, Chicago isn't like Wrigley isn't exactly pull pull happy. He signed yesterday. But like Wrigley isn't exactly pull happy. Like Isaac Paredes is like the guy who pulls the ball every time to hit home runs, and he rocked in Tampa Bay and did not rock in Chicago. So the Cubs don't make sense in that standpoint. Like I don't know. I think his options are the three American League teams that have money to spend. Like I thought the Yankees would be all over him. I thought the Red Sox would have many of him. Yeah. I think it'd be dumb to go to Seattle. No offense to Seattle. You just the offensive production, everyone says it dies there. No. I thought Arizona could have been a fun one. I think that could still like I like it. Like yeah, I don't know. Like the Mets could be cool, but like I don't see it anymore. I think the Nationals would be so fun. No. The um I thought the Royals would be cool too. But like imagine him and Bobby Witt on the left side. Oh, that'd be so fun. Oh man. Yeah. I yeah, I don't know. As like as a Blue Jay fan, I don't think I said this last time. I don't live and die on the hill that we need another bat. Like I'm not gonna if we go into the off season and our only other move is a Vladdy extension. I'm not gonna sit there in September or in April and go, oh man, I really wish we got another bat to complement these dudes. No, I think I'm. I've bought so far into the Joey Loperfido breakout that if it doesn't happen, I'm bankrupt. um, I I'm really in on Elvis Martinez like platooning at third base with Ernie and Will. Um, I like the American League is so wide open that like I genuinely look at this Jays team like they could sneak in as an 87, 88, maybe 86 win team, sneak into the sixth wildcard seed, and then if you roll a playoff rotation of Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, and Max fucking Scherzer, anything can happen. Especially if Vladdy and Bo are hitting the ball. They got Santander in there. There's no, like, this team has a legitimate path to the division. Like, I look at it and I go, Yankees on paper, number one. After that, it's a tossed salad of the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Orioles, and the Rays, because the Rays have devil magic, and they're in a minor league stadium. I think Bo comes back. I think that's almost a guarantee, right? Like, Bo comes back and hits at least 270. Like, that's a guarantee. If he hits 220 again, he won't be on a major league team next year. Like, no, but like, Javi Baez at least went into free agency like with something. Bo will go into free agency as a 27-year-old, 28-year-old who hit back-to-back years under 230, under 225, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, but like it'd be like the Athletics. So I look at it and I just like, in my mind, Bo is back as a 270 hitter, Vladdy's Vladdy, and Santander is Santander. Like, that's how I look at it. I pencil Will Wagner in as like a 260 hitter, as like a 700 OPS guy. I look at Andres Gimenez as probably a league average dude offensively, is like kind of where I'm seeing it. Then if Orelvis, Martinez, and Joey Loperfido break out to where we think they are, the offense is so deep. Like, the pathway is just there to win the division, and you're chilling. Like, dude, again, I'm not going to be upset if Bregman and Alonso are Blue Jays next year, but like, I just don't see it ever happening, and I don't think we need to be upset if those two aren't Blue Jays in 2025. Like, it's not like an ultimate failure. The Jays will never do anything. I can't believe Atkins couldn't do this. There's enough in the two spots on our roster where I look at it and I go, okay, left field, the floor and the ceiling are so far apart. And I look at third base and I'm like, the floor and the ceiling there, Ernie kind of brings the floor up. But the ceiling is a 20-homer guy in Orelvis Martinez. So it's just like, I don't know, like, what do you think Pete Alonso hits for home runs next year? Like, this is where I kind of hit in the argument. I think he probably hits 35. You're telling me between Orelvis Martinez and Joey Loperfido in a full year, they can't rake out 35 in there, maybe even add in Ernie Clement? Mookie Betts was unproven at one point. Well, yeah. But like, where I'm going is like, I wouldn't go for broke on Pete Alonso. Yeah. Like, if the Jays stick to their valuations, which is a bullshit term I've heard thrown around all offseason, and it makes me want to stick a 9 gauge into my mouth every time I hear it. If they stick to their valuations and they see Pete Alonso as a 25 AAV guy, and the Mets put 30 on the table, I wouldn't even look at it twice. I'd be like, okay, see ya. I would not deviate and break the bank on Pete Alonso. And it's not like that's a shot at Pete Alonso. If we didn't, if there was a hole at first base, go for give him a 6-year deal. I'd go for broke. Whatever the Met offer that he turned down at like 6,150 something or 6,170, I'd match that right now and be like, hey, come be our first baseman. But we don't need a first baseman next year. We have a first baseman right now in Vladdy. Yeah, and a DH in Santander. Like Springer's like if you're gonna take at bats away from either Elvis or Joey Loperfido, young unproven guys who have a chance to prove themselves. This is why I wish the Vladdy extension was done. Because if the Vladdy extension was done, I wouldn't feel the need to like, oh, I really wish we get Pete Alonso. Like I'd be, dude, if the Vladdy extension was done, if I'd be turning my phone off and be like, hey, see you guys see you on the first game of like the 22nd of February. And be like, we'll see. Like, yeah. Like if Vladdy signed tomorrow, I'd turn Twitter notifications off and then I'd go back on right before spring training and be like, oh, did we add anyone else? No? Okay. No, we need to be good. I'm not watching another bad team. DJ, I want to shoot myself last year. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If there's any year that I want the Blue Jays to be competitive, Vladdy extension aside, it's this year. When has the American League been this wide open? Never. Not even last year going into the season was it this wide open. Where it was like, okay, the Yankees are the favorites. The Orioles are going to be like number 2. The Astros are probably going to be right there. And like, probably the Rangers at some point. Injuries shoot the Rangers. Mediocrity shoots the Astros. It shoots the Orioles. And the Central sucked. Whereas this year, like, I don't look at like the Yankees day in, day out when it matters aren't a better team. When it's the bottom of the 9th and Judge was the last out in the 8th inning, they don't have that guy in Soto to get it done every time. They lost the key to the offense last year. I look at the Orioles and I look at a rotation that's one slight injury away from like Chernobyl disaster. Like D-Day disastrous for the Orioles. One injury. I look at the Red Sox as the only other team, and this is going to come back to bite, as like a legitimate threat in the American League. The Rays are just so... The Rays could either be a 60-win team or a 140-win team, and you never know what it's going to be year in, year out. I look at the Central. Like, the Twins suck. The White Sox suck. The Guardians, they pitch, but they can't hit. They couldn't hit water if they fell on a boat. Like, and then I look at the Tigers. I like Jack Flaherty. I think they're going to be good. But like the Royals are the team to beat in there, and even there, I'm like, you're probably a third place team in the East. And then I look at the West. The Astros are going to Astro. I don't like the Mariners. They don't do anything that makes me want them. Like, they don't do anything where I'm like, oh, this is the Mariners' year. It could have been the Mariners' year, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and they did fuck all each year. So I don't really care what they do. The Rangers are the only other team that I look at and I go, could. Wyatt Langford is a dog. If they're healthy next year, watch out. If it's the same shit that they dealt with this past year, then it's out of their control. Who knows? Yeah, but like I just say there's no clear-cut favorite in the American League like there is in the National League. The National League's so top-heavy. Even outside of the Dodgers, like the best teams in baseball right now, in my opinion, go Dodgers, Phillies, Braves, Mets, Diamondbacks, Yankees. Right now is where I sit. So there's 5 teams in the National League. So like there's 4 or 5 teams in the National League that like there's the National League's so top heavy. Like there's only one spot really for a team to compete in outside of the NL Central Division participation trophy. Like, well, the Padres are going to suck this year. I'm so far out on the Padres. Oh, those are so jokes. They're jokes. Oh. Well, it's because the Padres were like, hey, we want to get rid of contracts. Like, they want to get rid of, like, their Manny Machado contracts. Like, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., like, those contracts. Again, they're not going to trade. They're not going to get a trade partner for Xander Bogaerts. No one's going to take that contract. I could be persuaded into a Manny Machado trade if the Padres eat a lot of money. If they trade Fernando Tatis Jr., that team's going to get relocated. So, like, yeah. But, like, it's so open that, like, once you get in, who knows? You know? Like, there could be 8 teams that are fighting or 9 teams in the American League that fight for playoff spots. All 5 American League East teams could be fighting for a playoff spot. The Twins, the Guardians, the Royals, the Tigers could all be in the mix. The Rangers, the Astros, the Mariners could all be in the mix. Hell, the fucking Athletics could be in there. Like, there might only be like 3 sellers in the American League this year. But, like, if you're in the National League and you're not in the NL Central and I'd start loading up the American League. Like, dude, if I'm the Rockies, I'm on the phone day one. We're like, hey, who do you want? Same with, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. Yeah, like, yeah, especially in the Central. The Marlins genuinely, like, we're talking like 2024 White Sox. Like, it's Sandy Alcantara, welcome to Toronto, man. But, like, yeah, I look at the American League, like, there's no clear-cut favorite. There's an argument for 10 of the 15 teams on why they could win the American League. Like, a genuine argument on each side. Do some teams need a lot more to happen than others? Yeah, but that's baseball. They're like, I just want it this year so much more than, like, I've wanted it any other year. Because, like, even if Vladdy isn't extended, if the Jays make a run, let's say ALCS, or God forbid they win the pennant, like, God forbid, like, let's say they, like, you get a 2015 run, or, like, God forbid we win the pennant or something. The extension talks with Vladdy gets so much easier. Let's say Vladdy's locked down ahead of spring training and we make that run to the World Series or ALCS. You just become 10 times more desirable in a league that's so much wide open where it's like, hey, anyone could win it. And we don't need to even, it's a dice roll on the other side if we get the Dodgers or not. Like, it's a 1 in 6 chance if we get the Dodgers, if we win the pennant. So, I want it more this year than I did at the end of 2022 or 2021 even. I want it so bad. I want it as like a shut up to the league that, hey, we underperformed. I want it like, I want to put the fucking league on notice where it's like, hey, we got Vladdy long term. Even if Bo leaves, we got a Relvis Martinez here for another 6 years. Joey Loperfito's a dog. Oh, what's that? Bowden Francis is a top 3 pitcher in our rotation. Huh, who would have thought? Not us. Oh, do we have $300 million just to throw on free agents? Yeah, we do. Do we have the best defensive second baseman and center fielder in baseball? Yeah, we do. Oh, do you want to come play in a league that's so wide open day in and day out? Oh, you do? Like, the American League is prime for a team to just spend a tenth of what the Dodgers have spent and be the team. But you got to spend right, you know? You can't spend 8 years on Max Fried. No offense. You know, like, Bellinger isn't the move. Neither is Goldschmidt. Like, the Yankees spent, and they made it like we all expected Bellinger. But it felt like they just spent to spend. You know? Like, it felt like, well, we got the Juan Soto money lying around. Let's see what we can do. And they just threw money around and see where it landed. Like, you had $760 million to Juan Soto, but you couldn't fork over 3 years, $60 million to Christian Walker? Like, what? Yeah. You traded for Cody Bellinger to prove that you had the financial capabilities to do so, but you ignored Kyle Tucker? Yeah. You wanted a starting pitcher, so you went out and got a lefty with injuries? Like, they paid Max Fried more money and more years with more concern than Corbin Burns got. And then the Devin Williams trade is fine. Like, that's a sick move. I wish we got that one. Like, I can't complain about it. Like, that move's sick. I like the Bellinger move. I don't. Oh, he's going to look so dumb. So dumb. I don't mind the Bellinger move. Like, I don't hate it. Do I think it could turn into Joey Gallo? Absolutely. But, like, I like, when you think Yankees, you got to think lefty power hitters, and Bellinger is that. That's why I thought Kyle Tucker would have been the fit. Like, you're telling me, yeah, like, you're telling me the Yankees couldn't have split with Spencer Jones and a couple other guys to get Kyle Tucker and then given him an extension? He's a dog, man. I thought, like, that. Go get. They don't have a second baseman or a third baseman. Like, right now, DJ LeMahieu is their third baseman. Get the fuck out of here. That's not scary. Yeah, when I was 8. Like, I don't know, man. I thought maybe instead of giving Max Fried the money, they probably could have just given it to Alex Bregman. Instead of giving Goldschmidt the money, they could have just thrown it over to Christian Walker, and then you can still make that Cody Bellinger move, and you can still trade for Devin Williams, and you're the clear-cut favorite in the American League. Clear-cut. Not even close. Like, it's not even a competition. You have a top 5 third baseman. You have a really good you got a nice young shortstop who could do something. You got a pretty good second baseman. You'll have a really great power hitting first baseman. You have the number 1 right fielder in baseball. You'll have Bellinger in center field. You had a really cool, fun piece in Jason Dominguez in left field. You got Garrett Cole. Again, maybe there's concerns about Garrett Cole. I don't think there are, but maybe there are. You got Garrett Cole. Maybe you don't want Nestor Cortez. Maybe you got Nestor Cortez. Oh, no, Nestor Cortez got traded. Yeah. Like Clark Schmidt, Luis Heel, Stick. Like, I don't know. I don't think Fried was as necessary as like an 8-year deal at the winter meetings. I think there could have been more spending. I thought they would have been in on Alonso, man. Like, so far in on it. Like, if I was the Yankees, backup would have been Alonso. Yeah. They do. Well, he was like, hell, even if you don't want to spend the money on Christian Walker, 8 different first basemen got traded this year. You're telling me you couldn't have forked up something for Josh Naylor? I know Yankee fans don't like him, but he's still a dog. Like, he's still, he's got some shit in him, man. Like, dude, I thought the Josh Naylor trade was sick. Nathaniel Lowe? You're telling me the Yankees couldn't have got Nathaniel Lowe for cheap? And that would have been a better option than Paul Goldschmidt. That's a lefty in there, too. Like, I don't know. I think I get the Yankees spent, but, like, I don't think it was the most smart spending. Yeah. 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 I don't know. As much as you can bash the Yankee spending, the team that had a stupider spending spree was the Orioles. And I will sit on the hill that the Orioles had the worst offseason in the American League East. I sit on that hill. Dude, they signed Charlie Morton to a 15-year deal. Or no, not a 15-year deal. Oh, my God. They signed Charlie Morton. They signed Charlie Morton to a 1-year, $15 million deal. An extra $500,000, they could have had Max Scherzer. They signed Tomoyuki Sugano, a 38-year-old rookie, when they could have had Walker Buehler. You know who had the prospects to make a star-studded trade for a guy like Garrett Crochet? The fucking Orioles. And the Red Sox, I don't even think gave up that much, in my opinion. Like, Kyle Teal's sick, but, like, other than that, it was like, oh. Yeah. Gary Sanchez was their second offensive signing. Gary Sanchez. I don't think Henderson went over. Henderson might have been, like, just there. Well, let's take a look. You got rid of 44. To be fair, like, you get, like, 30 with Tyler O'Neill, but it might only be in 60 games. So it really cool. You, like, there's, like, 50 games where, like, he pretty cool. Also, he rakes because it was at Fenway. The wall is still, like, he's got to hit that thing to Mars to get a pulled home run. Dude, Gunnar Henderson's only 23. Oh my God. Dude. That's... Dude, okay, well, dude, Gunnar feels like... The reason I'm shocked that he's 23 because he debuted at 21. Like, he feels like he's 26, man. Gunnar got 37 last year. Like, Gunnar probably replaces Santander's production. But, like, that lineup doesn't look as deep and scary when you take out a guy like Santander. Because, like, Gunnar's going to hit, like, what, second or third? Holiday's going to hit ninth. Adley hits second or third. Like, whatever Gunnar hits. Or no, Adley hits, like, fifth. Some days. Ryan Mountcastle will be dog shit until he faces the Blue Jays. And then he'll turn into Barry Bonds for 7 games. And we'll all hate him. But, like, the lineup, like, the Orioles are 2 injuries away from finishing in last place. And they have an injury-prone cleanup hitter. Oh, it's them. If anyone could replace it, like, if anyone was, like, if there's any team that was like, oh, shit, we probably should have done a little bit more and can get away with it and make the trade, it's the Orioles. But, like, we're 2 years away from, like, a year away, depending on how this year goes, from putting them in, like, the 2020 to 2024 Toronto Blue Jay category. Like, they're getting close. If they can't win, they are no better than the Blue Jays right now. If they can't do anything, they let a 44 homer guy walk. Adley should have an extension. But, like, Adley should have an extension. I don't expect Gunnar to sign it. Gunner's agent might shoot him if Gunnar signs an extension before hitting free agency. Like, Gunner's heading towards $500 million. Like, and now you see where I'm getting at with the comparisons. They're starting to show. Who knows? Who knows, man? In 5 years, we might not even have baseball, man. The lockout might just take 3 years. Oh, I'm looking to see, I'm going through Twitter to see if it got announced yet. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I think by the end of this week, the Jays go into Vlad and just be like, we're at, here's 460, 470. Call it a day. 470, no deferrals, no opt-outs, full no trade clause. I definitely think he could just, like, it would cap it. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it capped at 450. 12, 450? Yeah. Get it done. But Max Scherzer is a Toronto Blue Jay. If you don't like it, there's no fun, and you don't like anything in life, we are watching a future first ballot 98% Hall of Famer here who potentially could hang the cleats up in Toronto with one final hurrah. No, he doesn't. The quarter century team. Yeah, I'm making a TikTok on that. Max Scherzer would never. Oh, I was talking about Max Scherzer, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" 1 year, 41-year-old Max Scherzer, and you want to put him in the quarter century team? To be fair, I do think I cooked up with this quarter century team. I'm gonna read it to you after this. You'll see the TikTok tomorrow-ish. And yeah. Thanks for coming through this podcast. I said it last week, so I'll say it again this week. Maybe next week we'll have another thing to talk about. That's signing or an extension. We are almost at baseball season. It's like a week away. It's almost our time to shine. Super Bowl prediction is Team Meteor hits. Super Bowl prediction is Chiefs 3-peat and Travis Kelce proposes. Yes. Look at us go. Season's almost around the corner. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that fun shit. And we'll see you all next week's episode. Bye.